saying that I still support that it be submitted to a vote of the people.
But the doctors...
By a special session. I have no qualms about calling a special session. Send to conference, $23.
Could we stop right here and have Casey ask a question? She's dying to have the equalization board come and be certified in money on my...
There comes a point in time, sometimes you have to say, this is the legal estimate, let's do the best we can, and that's what we're trying to do. And if they want to appropriate at a lower level, that's fine.
Probably wondering why we called you here today. We do have a very special announcement to make.
It finally happened. After months of planning and debating, the powerful DeBartolo organization said yes to a conditional license and say they plan to build their $74 million racetrack at the zoo. The DeBartolos, along with the Racing Commission, have been under heavy attack from horse owners and trainers in Oklahoma who oppose the DeBartolos' demands. During a recent Racing Commission meeting, the DeBartolos asked for and received a revenue guarantee. It means that the track will make millions before another license is granted in Oklahoma. This afternoon, after the announcement, DeBartolo officials said they had their doubts about Oklahoma when the controversy was at its hottest. But now they say everything is go.
It has been, on occasion, frustrating. On occasion, I've wondered why we were here taking all this abuse, but today I know why. We're here.
You're here to stay.
Absolutely, here to stay.
Racing commissioners were also at the meeting. They, too, have been on the hot seat. But one commissioner says it was all worth it to bring what he believes will be first-class racing to Oklahoma.
I think we got a lot of help along the way, and we got some criticism along the way, but we've made progress all the way. So I'm just as tickled today. I can't even think about any abuse we may or may not have had.
This is where the track will be located, on this piece of ground in northeast Oklahoma City. A ceremonial groundbreaking is scheduled for this spring. The bulldozers are to arrive sometime this fall. Expected starting date, fall of 1988. But this afternoon, city officials said that's not good enough. They want the track to open in the spring of '88, and they're challenging the DeBartolos to be ready. Kevin Ogle, News 4 in northeast Oklahoma City.
In early January, one man died in an accident at this plant near Gore. In that accident, investigators say a 14-ton cylinder was overfilled with uranium hexafluoride, then heated. Yesterday, the Nuclear Regulatory Commission says another cylinder was overfilled, but it presented no danger.
We've got numerous calls already that people are wondering whether they're supposed to evacuate or get out of town or what they're supposed to do.
There was no evacuation, and according to the NRC, no need for one. But many of the people in Gore say they're gun-shy since the January accident.
There was a gentleman just in the office, well, when you came in, and he was real shook up about it. A lot of people are wondering whether to leave town or what to do about it, you know. They really don't know.
So people are scared?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
The folks at the community center in Gore didn't hear about yesterday's overfill until this afternoon. The reaction here was a calm one. But one citizen was quick to point out that there is a day-to-day kind of fear that goes along with living so close to radioactive material.
Well, man would be crazy if he wasn't scared, you know, something like that.
Others in Gore agree there is a day-to-day concern, and some are anxious for changes.
I think that they ought to have something where they can notify us.
Like a siren system?
Yep, something. Or close the darn thing down. That's what I'd like.
Closest I live, it wouldn't do me any good if it had a siren.
Kerr-McGee says warning systems and new safety procedures are being implemented to allay some of the fear in Gore. Dan Slocum, News 4.
It's the highlight of the year for them. They've had these animals, a lot of them, for a year, even the steers, maybe more than a year, and this is what they shoot for then. You could watch them here in the barns and in their pens and watching them caring for them, getting them ready, and see how the animal changed. Then you see what this type of life is all about. Again, we will be placing this class and then picking the champion, reserve champion, and 6 other lambs for the sale Tuesday evening.
Good comics we've got first and Marvel.
They have something about
They are absolute fanatics. You know, a fan is short for fanatic. And they collect this stuff with a passion. And they're bright people. You know, you may think I'm just plugging these people, but their IQs in general are real high.
I just screamed my partner, get out of the way, and we just ran, and I didn't see anything else until I looked back, and it was already at rest, the truck itself. So, like I said, I ran right on over immediately and see how the truck driver was doing and shut the semi-truck off. It was still running wide open. Fear that it might start on fire or something like that.
Basically a dishonest businessman perpetuated on the public, you know, something that is going to destroy lives, destroy families. And I think it behooves our government to come in and try to afford some kind of aid and to help these fellows out of this predicament.
In 1983, Judge William Page was convicted of extortion and racketeering. The state won that case on the strength of testimony from informant and convicted turkey dope dealer Richard Riley. Riley testified he paid the judge bribe money. The jury listened to taped phone conversations between Riley and Page, where payments were discussed. But the defense argued those payments were back legal fees from the days Page was in private practice.
I'm optimistic and I have faith in the system.
Today, the former Oklahoma County District Court judge has new hope. Breaking a 3-year silence, Page now says the man who helped convict him will clear his name.
I feel like that Richard Riley does have a little bit of conscience about him, and he's decided, well, you know, I want to clear this thing up. This guy, Bill Page, has helped me in the past, I think, as he put it, more than anybody else. And I think he finally decided, well, it's time now to tell the truth.
Any chance for a new trial will hinge on whether federal judge Ralph Thompson can believe Richard Riley this time around. Riley has a long history of run-ins with the law. Thompson must now decide which story, if any Riley is telling, would warrant a new trial for Bill Page. At the federal courthouse, Kurt Autry, News 4.
Of, but I'd like to emphasize this decision was based upon the fact that I've had a lifelong commitment to try to bring economic opportunity for an area of the state of Oklahoma that needs, I think, that attention, that personal attention, that personal commitment. And basically I couldn't bring myself to turn my back on something I had dreamed and worked for so long and walk away from it. In that low-income area and high unemployed area. Should have been one built there 30 to 40 years ago. We're also building the first marketing center, culture research.
You pretty? Yeah.
Many of these special children can't see. They must learn about things like the Easter Bunny through their sense of touch and their other senses.
What we're going to do, we're going to put a lot of these out on the ground, and then you go to the noise.
A keen sense of hearing also pays off in this Easter egg hunt. Special beeping eggs guide the sightless seekers to their treasures.
All right! Yay! Let's go and see if we can get you some chocolate now.
What method are you using to find your Easter eggs? How are you doing that?
I'm using my ears. And my hands. No, it's right in front of you. You can get it. No, see that? Yeah, all right.
Good eyesight is not necessary to believe in the Easter Bunny. You just need a good imagination. Scott Wallace, News 4 at the Governor's Mansion.
I'll be on it. I ain't got any enemies.
We're putting a dent in it, though. It's the pile's coming down slowly but surely.
It's no big hurry now. We thought we were going to have to get out of here because of the roof leaking, but the guy that owns the place is making a big effort to work with us and fix it. So it's just going to move along now. Probably take us a year to get this out of here, but we'll get it out of here. It'll all be given to needy people.
This means I'm going to be on it.
Any drop in volume also takes your people, so we'd have to lay some people off if it keeps on going. So far, we've laid nobody off, no full-time people off. What'll happen this summer, I don't know. If this continues, we're going to have to just daily look at our situation. This time I'd like to ask that
company put the sales tax preference together in the community development department. What is the policy?
We have approved in concept the lease by vote of the council on, I think, 2 occasions, but there has not been the final lease hammered out, which again is one of the reasons we need to go ahead and give permission to do that. But obviously this is something that needs to be done. It moves the construction dates along a little better, and so we're anxious to get that started.
Libyan government. I think we ought to recognize also we're dealing with a madman in a very crazy country. How we will respond until we see it. I am very strongly of the position that the federal government owes these people the opportunity to get rid of their herds and replace them with safe cattle. They obviously failed as a government agency with the FDA to protect these people from contaminated feed, and I think it is our responsibility to do that.
The council released a report yesterday which shows an increase in malpractice premiums in Oklahoma. The council says the rising cost of malpractice insurance is contributing to higher health costs for consumers. And by placing a cap on non-economic losses, or in other words, pain and suffering awards, the cost to the consumer would go down.
The pain and suffering awards in many cases around the country have been multiple millions of dollars in amount. And the task force felt that a cap needed to be put on the amount that juries could award to begin to get a handle on the effect it's having on the cost of health care.
Attorney Larry Tallwater tries malpractice cases in Oklahoma. He opposes a cap on malpractice awards.
There have been no studies made to determine whether or not this would have a beneficial effect to anyone. We know that it certainly will have an ill effect on the people who are seriously injured.
I would suggest that if that's the message we were trying to send, that I was busy taking Mr. Rebello and others who helped overthrow Somoza, and there's tighter security at the Capitol. There probably is tighter security at the airports. You know, we don't state publicly exactly what we're doing, but I think you can be assured that there's a fairly high state of preparedness for that kind of thing.
It's really going to be tough because you're not allowed to work any extra jobs or anything during the FTO program, and I think it could be a little higher, but I mean, you're there to help the people, and the pay is really secondary, so I'm happy with it.
State of Oklahoma.
The State of Oklahoma.
To the charter, statutes, and ordinances of the City of Oklahoma City.
Future Chief of Police of Oklahoma City.
And other superior officers appointed over me. And swear that I will serve honestly.
I further solemnly swear that I will serve honestly,
faithfully,
This is a service Indian residents in and around Oklahoma City have been relying on since 1974. The Urban Indian Health Clinic provides basic health care for tribal members at a cost most people can afford. But this facility is one of many that the Reagan administration wants to close.
This is our dental clinic.
Today, Oklahoma Congressman Mike Synar toured the facility to find out firsthand what kind of services are provided and just how important they are. If this clinic closed, needy Indian patients would have to drive to Shawnee for a low-cost checkup. Synar says it's worth the federal government's investment to keep the clinic operating.
I think we can show a cost-efficient type of program here because medical care given now will prevent later medical needs later. And I think that's very important. I think we can make a case that for a budget of less than $500,000, we can deal with literally 15,000 people. And I don't know of many government programs that are that efficient.
I'm trying to teach her about the growth of the baby. We have charts and things to...
The Oklahoma City Indian Clinic is critical for pregnancy patients. Women receive valued counseling here that they probably could not afford anyplace else. It's for programs like this that Synar will be fighting for, and he believes the truly needy will not be forgotten by the Congress. Indian officials in Oklahoma City are hoping Synar can deliver. Kevin Ogle, News 4.
I saw the other highway patrolmen running to their cars and a line of cars starting to come on down that off-ramp, and I knew where they were going. And at that time, it hit me what had actually happened.
Φίλιππη, όπως πήγαινες μωρέ. Όπως πήγαινες έτσι για τον ήλιο. Από εδώ όπως πήγαινες. Έτσι όπως πας. Γιατί ρε Δημήτρη κάτω. Δεν μας ανοίξα κάτω από κάτω. Τι μας κοροϊδεύουνε δηλαδή.
Striking the title, the enacting clause in the body of the bill, and substituting the attached.
Those in favor say aye. Vote much from the 15% so-called tort reform. In most instances that I'm familiar with, and I understand it limits punitive damages to 50%, whatever.
And it represents getting something done. It represents responding to the pressures that our people have asked us to respond to.
You've had a chance to see those reports. Do you think they would have helped you during the trial?
Oh, at this point, it is hard to say. You know, that case was so highly publicized, and the reports, I think anything at that point in time would have helped.
The Dolphins first made their presence known this Wednesday when reporters were invited out to take a look. Despite the cloud and rain, the Stars performed for the cameras, and zoo officials are expecting them to be even better on opening day. The Aquaticus exhibit is now reality. The $5 million dream will begin operating on a daily basis this Sunday. The three dolphins will earn their keep in a new environment, but it will be easier for them than it will be for the people in charge of the exhibit. Aquaticus must be successful. Zoo leaders say there is no way the attraction will fail. Dolphins are born entertainers, and their popularity around the country has convinced Oklahoma Zoo supporters that the show will work. Besides the benefit to the zoo, Oklahoma City will profit from the sea life. People who would not normally make the trip to Oklahoma City are now expected to make plans to visit the ocean on the plains. It means out-of-town money for the city's sagging economy, and it means new stature for the Oklahoma City Zoo. Many believe it will move the zoo into the forefront of the industry. That's a position some say it has already attained.
Beef is that this administration has shortchanged the farmers of Oklahoma. They have not had programs to help small business people, and then they're going to sanction a $350 million loan to Argentina that competes against U.S. farmers and Oklahoma cattlemen, and I just don't think that's fair. It seems to me we ought to be looking after our own farmers instead of spending all the money overseas.